Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to What's Up Waco, the podcast that loves to introduce you to the people, the places, and the properties that make Waco an excellent community to live. Hey everybody, welcome back to What's Up Waco with your host, Erica Boisvert. And today I am joined by Elizabeth Meigs. Hello.
Hi, Erica.
Hi. So Elizabeth, you are a best-selling author, a speaker, and a transformational coach.
Yes, ma'am.
That's amazing. You wear many, many hats.
Yes. I am so blessed to get to do what I do.
You are, and a blessing to others.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you want to get into, because in order to be a transformational coach, you had to have gotten through things in your own life that helped you see that you can, come through things and help other people and kind of get through some of life's ickiest moments. Let's talk about, you're often referred to as a miracle.
Yes, I have been called a miracle all of my life.
You have.
And I honestly, when I was younger, I kind of got sick of hearing it. And I would just be polite, smile,
Sure.
and walk away. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you want to call me a miracle, I'm no miracle, whatever.
You're like, sure.
And then this last year, the clarity with all of my growth and everything that I have been through and had to transform my own life in order to survive.
Right.
I'm ready to step into that miracle.
Yeah. Because it's truly amazing. So you, from birth, were considered a miracle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. My parents were told that they would never have children.
Ugh.
Less than a 15% chance.
Wow.
And they adopted my brother.
Okay.
7.5 years later, Mom thought she better go to the doctor, make sure she didn't have the baby flu, and sure enough, she was
Oh
pregnant
my
with
gosh.
me.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah.
I can't imagine. They must have just been, I can't even imagine how shocked you'd be. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so exciting. And then here you are, you're in the world, you're doing your thing.
Yes.
And you're also beautifully gifted with an amazing singing voice.
Yes. I was singing before I was talking as a toddler.
Aw.
And very much started taking voice lessons at the age of 7 because my mom saw my gifts and my talents.
Okay.
My voice teacher believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
I was known for my voice. In fact, as that 8 or 9-year-old girl singing on a stage,
Wow.
people would hear the voice
Mm-hmm.
and they would turn to see who it was, and they'd have to do a double take because they couldn't
That you were so
imagine
little.
that voice was coming out of that 8-year-old girl. It's like, how is that happening?
That is so cool. And now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say you also found out you had perfect pitch?
Oh,
No, I don't know why
yeah,
that's stuck
yeah.
in my head.
It was effortless. It was.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have to work on it at all. It just
Neat.
came so natural.
That is so cool. And so then fast forward, you're 14.
14.
And you're
yes.
singing on stage. You're doing amazing things. You're
Had been
happy.
yeah. I had been in a recording studio in the spring of my 8th grade year. Everything was moving full speed ahead
Mm-hmm.
for me to graduate high school, move to Nashville, and pursue a career in country music.
That's amazing.
That was my goals, my
Mhm.
dreams, and they were coming true.
Okay. And you also had like a really cool high school like experience in the did you or I'm sorry, middle school, weren't you cheering and
Yeah.
all the fun stuff?
Yeah. Play every sport, cheerleader,
Yeah.
very, very popular. Everyone wanted to be my friend. Yeah, everything was going.
Like things were going beautifully.
Yes, my life was easy.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then,
yes, 1 week into my freshman year of high school, my whole world came crashing down around me.
mm-hmm.
I was severely injured in a car accident where I ended up suffering a traumatic brain injury that affected me just like a stroke.
Yep.
I was given less than 25% survival rate,
Oh
had to
my
be
gosh.
placed in a drug-induced coma to allow my brain and my body the best chance of survival.
Yeah.
The doctors were preparing my parents and my family for the worst because
That's what their expectation was,
that's
right?
what they're supposed to do. She's not going to survive. You guys need to be prepared for that.
Oh, jeez.
The first 48 to 72 hours were touch and go. They almost lost me.
Jeez. Okay.
Then were able to get me stable after that first 48 to 72 hours. I would remain in the coma for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Once I woke, I was reduced to that of an infant. I couldn't do anything for myself. Couldn't even sit up on the edge of the bed.
So there was, your muscles were done. And your brain wasn't really sure about how to tell your body what to do, what it needed to do, right?
Yeah. It wouldn't even operate my left arm
at all,
hand, foot, leg, nothing.
Wow.
It affected my left side just like a stroke.
Oh, I was going to say that's why you kind of make that analogy.
Muscle tone.
Yeah.
And it would be years before I could extend my arm and open my fingers without physically prying them open. So
that must have been so hard because like the complexity of being so excited to have survived, and your parents must have been overjoyed that you were okay. But for you came back to such a level of like frustration.
Well, yes, I was frustrated. I couldn't sleep. I was crabby. It was my way or the highway when they were in my hospital room once I was in subacute rehab.
Okay.
Honestly, now that I have been doing what I do for 13 years, I really feel bad for the nurses.
Oh, really?
Because I had to have complete silence to sleep, and I swear my room was right by the nurse's desk.
Oh,
and
well, that's not great placement.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
ugh.
I'd get on my call like, can you guys please shut up?
Right? You're like, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, I'm trying to sleep. It would be 3 full months of hospitals and intensive rehabs before I made it back home for good. And through that time, I hadn't even come to the realization that my life was going to be different. I still had the same dreams. I still had the same aspirations, even though it was 43 days before I even spoke a whisper.
Okay.
And then it was another 6 to 8 months before I could speak in full sentences without my voice breaking out or someone having to get right down by my mouth in order to hear what I was saying. Yeah.
So in your kind of teenage mind, you're like, I'm just going to recover. I'll be back on stage. I'm still going to Nashville. This is still my life.
Yeah, that was the life I knew.
Yeah.
It would be once I was back home. My friends, their lives went on.
Yeah.
People who didn't know me before the accident or know of the accident would see something physically wrong with me, and they would decide that I wasn't worth their time. So I dealt with a lot of judgment and rejection, which was devastating.
Oh, gosh.
I had never
dealt
with that before.
Yeah.
So I would come home from school multiple days a week for years and tell my parents I should have died. I wish I was dead and I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
I would find myself down on my knees, crying out to God, screaming at the top of my lungs, beating my fist in the floor, tears running down my cheeks.
Yeah.
Asking him why he did this to me. What did I do to deserve this? But that would be when I would receive an answer.
Yep.
And that answer would come in the form of a voice on my heart. That would bring me the only comfort and peace that I would ever receive moving forward.
Wow.
And that comfort and peace was an overwhelming, that was what I longed for. And it said, I have a plan for you. You can't stop. You have to keep going. I knew one day, I didn't know when, and I didn't know how.
Sure.
But he was going to turn it all around, and I was going to one day need to be for someone else exactly what I needed in that moment.
Yeah.
I couldn't, that was what would run through my head was just that I couldn't imagine anybody else having to suffer the way I was suffering.
Okay.
I wouldn't have wished what I was going through on
No.
a single soul in this world. And every night before I went to bed, I began to pray to God, going to bed with a thankful and grateful heart, thanking him for my life, thanking him for my blessings, and asking him to lead me, help make me the right choices so that I could do his will with my life. Because I knew someday, somehow, I was going to be placed in front of the people that I was meant to help.
That's amazing. And so in a way you were, because then you got into rehab care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But I mean, and we can talk about that if you'd like, but really it sounds like the plan he had for you was beyond that.
Oh yeah. Much
Oh, yeah.
greater than that. Now,
Okay.
Now, just because I was praying to God, it was still a roller coaster
Right.
all throughout high school. Like 5 to 6 years, me wanting to give up multiple times a week.
Yeah.
For 5 to 6 years consistently.
Well, I just can't imagine teenagers either.
Yeah.
Reactions and
Right.
just.
Well,
Ugh.
and my friends, they honestly, this was the first time any of us had ever experienced anything like this.
Right.
They didn't know what I needed.
No,
And
no.
they, yeah.
That's gracious,
yeah,
but you're right.
yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
And their parents probably don't know.
No. Their parents, they've heard me speak, some of them.
Okay.
They had no idea what I was dealing with.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, some of that's got to be because, did they reach out? Did they ask? Did they,
Well,
you know what I mean? Sometimes.
What
sometimes
was
we have to-
behind closed doors, they had no idea that I was having suicidal thoughts because I was still smiles and a lot of
Oh, so you were
time.
still masking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't, this was, my breakdowns would be at home.
Okay.
My breakdowns were at home in private.
You didn't like completely change and be like emo on campus. You were.
Well, yeah,
No.
I was emotional.
You're like, no, wait,
I was emotional throughout high school, but that was because that area of my brain was damaged. But
Okay.
I never said I wish I
Right.
was dead and I want to kill myself at school. That was always at home. Those words never came out of my mouth.
Okay. Oh, well, it's really nice. It's just so much for you to handle at such a young age. And then you heard his voice and you knew a piece.
Yes. And moving on, that peace and that comfort was so overwhelming. I never forgot what that felt like.
Wow.
Even in the times when he did speak to me, I remembered what that felt like. And it was like that memory on my heart or something would just come flooding back. And it's like, wait a minute, I got to keep going.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can have a breakdown for a few hours and go to sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. I need to get back up and keep going because I've got to figure this out.
Okay. So at what point did you realize, Nashville is not an option anymore? Like, when did that really settle in?
Well, I did get back to singing throughout high school.
Okay.
Because I was still passionate about that. That was something I loved. My voice was not what it was before.
Okay.
Because my neck muscles were affected. So I was no longer that soprano with the natural vibrato that could just belt it out effortlessly.
Okay.
It took more work, but my voice was still beautiful.
Okay.
And that would be the only time I wouldn't be judged when I was throughout high school, because people would see something I was good at.
Okay.
And they wouldn't judge me. So our passions, those are so important. When you are down, when you are stressed, when you're overwhelmed, when you're burnt out, when you're dealing with judgment and rejection, those things that you're passionate about, those things that set your soul on fire, keep doing them. Those are the things that get you through.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, and then you've also found kind of some other things that get you through. Now, did some of that come from your training working in acute care, or is it just stuff you've had to figure out along the way?
All of my strategies were I would develop throughout high school and along the path through God's grace and mercy. No one none of it was stuff that I learned. It was just stuff that would stuff that I learned. Well, it
like
was
you couldn't
stuff,
like research.
stuff,
It's not in a book somewhere for you.
Not
right.
stuff that I would research, just
Okay.
stuff that would be brought into my life. And I was like, oh, heck, that works for this.
Okay.
Stuff that I figured out on my own just by doing it. And honestly, it was over 2 decades later before I realized that I had developed any of these things.
Wow. Okay. You just kind of took it as like, well, that's just how I deal with XYZ, right?
I never thought to write it down
or share.
And well, I guess I did.
Okay.
So 12 years after the accident, I would graduate with a degree in occupational therapy. When I walked into my first patient's room, who had suffered a stroke, that's when I began to see that plan come to life.
Okay.
That greater plan, because they were discouraged, they lack hope.
Oh, yeah.
I was now that voice of hope for them, just as God was that voice of hope for me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize it until here recently, the last few years, that I had been teaching these strategies to my patients.
Okay.
But I never put 2 and 2 together until the last few years.
Right.
And it's like,
you were just like, here, do this.
Yeah, it's like,
here, try this.
Try this. Maybe
this
it'll
works for me.
This worked for me. Yeah. And then as I continued to share my story with my patients, I knew I was on the right track, but chaos, confusion comes. I part-time work because our subacute rehab unit had to close.
Oh, yeah.
Different stuff like that. Burnout with work. I had to learn how to keep moving.
Yep.
Moved from Kansas to Waco, Texas. And that's when 2 years or a year and a half into living here, God would get me to a church that had to celebrate recovery.
Yep.
And that would get me speaking from a stage. And that's when my eyes were open to the impact.
Isn't that amazing that even when you were with patients and you could feel that you were kind of hope personified for them, right? Because if you can do it, they can do it, right?
Right, exactly.
But it still took you coming here to realize, oh, wait, this is something I can teach.
I never thought about speaking on a stage.
Right.
And so I would get up on a stage and share my story.
Okay.
I wasn't teaching anything.
Right.
You
were
just giving my testimony about what God has done through me and how he works and how he can protect, provide, and all of that stuff.
Okay.
But as I've always been moving, I've always gotten confirmation by me stepping out that I'm on the right path.
Nice.
And so the first time I got up on a stage to speak, everyone in the audience was moved and everyone said, your story, you give me so much hope. Thank you. That was just as my patients. My eyes were open to the impact, and I thought to myself, I got to figure out how to get on more and more stages.
Yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to be
like
doing.
That's when the light went off. Oh, ding!
It's like, I got to figure this out. And then a few years later, I would find myself in a toxic relationship that would not, as God was aligning me with the people to get me on those bigger and better stages, I was being broken down at home, saying the dreams on my heart were never going to come true. But
those are kind of the obstacles that get placed in our way when you're, right?
Yeah. But God's voice was always so much stronger.
Yeah.
And I knew that was a promise. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to show you.
He's way bigger than you are. Thank you.
So, let me prove you wrong.
Right?
That's exactly what I'm doing because these are the dreams on my heart. Nothing else is fueling the fire inside of me like speaking on a stage and touching the lives of the everyday people. So, but God was aligning me with the network that saw my value, saw my heart, and were always encouraging me.
Yeah.
And introducing me to more people to get me up on bigger stages, to help me to learn my craft.
Yes.
And it would be,
and to get you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Huge.
keep me sane, that someone saw me so that I wouldn't completely break down.
Yeah, because that voice at home was telling you, no.
Yeah.
No,
So
nobody else listening.
it leveled out.
Yeah.
And in God's perfect time, I found my way out, and it would be approximately 2 to 4 weeks after I found my way out that I gained clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity on every strategy that I had developed recovering from the car accident. Had I not developed these strategies, he was like, you would not have survived your marriage.
Oh, that's true.
I
You were able to cope.
I wouldn't have survived my marriage. I wouldn't have survived job burnout and loss that I had faced years prior. I wouldn't have survived so many of the obstacles that I faced the last 24 years of my life.
Wow.
And so I began writing them down.
Okay.
I wrote them down, and I developed them 24 and a half, almost 25 years ago by the grace of God. Science now backs them the last 10 to 15 years on how they help mental health and anxiety, depression, and all of that. And it's just like, okay, God, this is what I'm supposed to do. That's how my Pathway to Peace method came about.
Okay.
And now I speak, I do workshops teaching my 5 R's to resilience so that I can help people who feel stuck. They feel like they are being held down. They can't get to where they need to be to make those dreams come true. To help them to be able to start to build the foundation of tapping into their inner spirit of resilience. That is the first step to fully stepping into your own miracle power.
Yep.
That's what I'm known as, the miracle power coach, because I've been called a miracle my entire life.
Right.
After the accident, people started to tell me, well, you're a miracle twice.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 2 weeks before I was speaking at a healing conference here in Waco on November 8th, 2024, God was like, your message is you're supposed to be speaking to my miracle power. So we all have that power within us. We just got to learn the strategies and the tools to get out of our own way.
Get out of your own way is solid advice. So solid.
And sometimes I still continue to get into my own way, even though I am like leaps and bounds from where I was, and I'm receiving everything that I need to continue to level up and get right where I need to be.
Yep.
But sometimes, I mean,
you're still human, Beth. It's okay.
We're all humans. So
we are.
Yeah. I still.
That's great. And I love the science-backed information, because what people, as we're talking about this, and you're talking about, having your gratitudes before you go to bed and being grateful and really specifically speaking to the things you're thankful in that day or in that moment, like that was not a thing 20-something years ago.
No. That actually helps to rewire the brain. Helps you to be able to adapt to the curveballs that are thrown at you. I mean, after the accident, I've always been one of those people that knowledge is power. Okay. So throughout biology or different science classes that I took in high school, anytime I had a research paper or a project, I was always studying the brain. Because I knew that was going to be the best way that I could help myself.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just like, and now I have this knowledge, I have the strategies, the tools to be able to help people to gain the confidence, clarity, and courage to reclaim their power and pursue their purpose. That's what life is all about.
That's amazing. And so now you get on stage and you share this with people.
Yes, I share with people, because so many times when we are left feeling stuck, it's because of a life circumstance that is completely out of our control.
Sure.
So it's completely out of our control. What you have to do is you gotta find that person that you are meant to be. Once you find that person that you're meant to be, and you find your purpose, your calling, no one can ever take that away. That's when you have the confidence, the clarity, and the courage to be able to set boundaries. In fact, one of my clients that I'm working with right now, that's exactly what she's doing. We talked on the phone one evening this week, and just the growth that I have seen in her and placing the boundaries. And now she can clearly see a path forward to things
Good.
she once thought were unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do what I do. That is my reward, so much greater than anything else that I ever could have asked or imagined.
Oh God. Well, especially is that the situation we talked about where she's
Yeah.
So you're saving a life in that
Yeah.
situation. Definitely. That's
Yeah.
wow. And so I don't want to get too much into your specific strategies because I'm sure you'd like people to go look you up at
Yeah.
Elizabeth Inspires and work with you. But do you want to give a little insight into a couple of things that you do? Not
Yes.
just the gratitude at night, but some other things that help?
Yeah. So my 5 R's to resilience framework,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got 3 M's to momentum, which basically is motivation. What is your why?
Okay.
Always hold on to your why. It's there
Mhm.
for a reason. The dreams are placed on your heart for a reason, and you are equipped with, no matter what's going on in your life, you are equipped with everything that you need to make those dreams a reality. They were placed there for a reason. Don't ever forget that. So, motivation. What is your why?
Mm-hmm.
Moving. You always got to be moving.
Okay. I like that.
Chaos, confusion can leave us feeling stuck. If you feel stuck, you're not ever going to get out of that chaos and confusion. So always keep moving. It has always been me moving. That's when the opportunities. That's how I've been able to learn how to live open to all of life's possibilities. Been able to turn my impossible into I'm possible is by always moving and seeking better for myself.
Okay.
And then mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Which my 5 R's to resilience
Mm-hmm.
lead into helping you to be able to shift that mindset, become more adaptable. You begin bouncing back from setbacks
Okay.
instead of staying stuck.
Okay.
And then once your confidence builds and you have courage and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you begin fully stepping into that miracle power.
Mm.
It was basically nearly a decade, not quite a decade, of me consistently tapping into my inner spirit of resilience before I finally got the aha that you've now stepped fully into your miracle power.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for you to help others to do the same.
Wow. And how do people receive it? I know when you spoke the first time, was that at Journey at Celebrate Recovery?
Yes.
And I know people were like, blown away. Please share, please share. How has it been going since then? Is it still overwhelmingly positive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So having the courage to step up,
Mm-hmm.
I went to a women's conference yesterday, and
Okay.
I asked the organizer if she needed a speaker 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, my lineup's all full, but please come. I went yesterday. One of the speakers was sick.
Yeah.
So 2 speakers in, I went up to her and I said, are you needing someone to fill in?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, you go for it. I spoke yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
One woman come up to me in the audience and she said, you give me so much hope.
Oh.
I'm dealing with relationship just as you did.
Mm.
You make me believe that I can find my way out of it.
Mm.
Thank you. She said, I need to book a time to call you.
Yeah.
We need to talk. I need more. That is that's how it works. Always continue. You don't know how. A lot of it's
Right.
uncertainty. I was so uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew one day, somehow, I was going to fully be where I needed to be so that I could help others.
And it would all make sense.
Yes.
You know what I love about that story from yesterday is that you just fully left yourself open to opportunity.
Yes.
Because you could, when she said, no, my lineup's full, you could have been like, well, forget that lady.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to show,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go. But you took it in stride. You're like, okay, cool, no problem. I
Yeah.
still want to be there.
Mhm.
And then look at what happened.
Yeah.
And then because of all those random things happening, which probably weren't random at all,
No.
but because of all those random things happening, you were able to speak to that room full of people.
Yeah.
And, the one person coming up to you, first of all, amazing. If you can save
Right.
one person,
Right.
amazing. But that's probably indicative of a bunch of other people who just didn't have the courage to speak to you.
There has been, over the years,
Mhm.
me speaking with my patients. I have had people come up to me a year or two later. So I'll run into someone at Walmart
Mm-hmm.
and they'll say, you have no idea what you did for me 2 years ago when I heard you share a piece of your story. And maybe it wasn't even my patient. Maybe it was a patient working with another therapist who just happened to be overhearing.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have no idea what you sharing did for me. Thank you.
Yeah. And I can't, in the OT space, I can't imagine like how motivating it must have been for people to see somebody literally on the other side of all the crap and pain that you're dealing with in those moments.
Yeah, because
and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's so hard. And there has been time. I've been called a drill sergeant working as an OT from patients that have been in the military. I've been a drill sergeant.
Oh, sure.
Whenever patients are difficult, not really wanting to do stuff,
other
therapists will say, we got to send Beth in there because if anyone can get them to work, she's the one who can. Just because when they know someone that understands exactly what they're going through, they're like, okay, look at her now.
You have such a different level of like credibility, right? Yeah, because who's going to tell you, you don't even know what you're talking about? Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I know better than anybody else in this room what you're feeling.
It's the same thing with like getting help. Like, I wasn't a business owner. I started to step out. And I was finding other business owners, other coaches that were 2-3 steps further ahead than me. And I was taking advice from them. They were helping me.
Smart.
That's what's gotten me here today. That's what helped me to gain clarity and figure out how to be able to serve others while still being able to make a living and afford to not be living under a bridge on the street.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't want you there.
Yeah, if I was on a bridge, under a bridge on the street, I mean, heck, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now.
No,
so
nobody would.
It's like,
it'd be harder to share your testimony, but I still feel like you would.
Yeah. But it's
different impact.
Those dreams on our heart are placed there for a reason. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something that's on your heart. Because, like I said, you are equipped with everything you need within you to make them happen. I've learned it's the challenges that make the victory so much sweeter once you finally break through.
Yeah.
Nothing worth doing ever comes easy.
No.
You fail, learn how to fail forward. Keep picking yourself back up and keep pushing toward that dream or that goal. If it didn't work this way, think outside the box, figure out another way.
There's always a solution. There's always a solution.
Or seek help from someone who is a few steps further along.
I love that because that's so important. And I know, especially here, like in the Waco community, small businesses, they really feed each other and help each other out a lot. But that's the best thing to do is, what do they always say? Like, if you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, you're not. Yeah. And surround yourself with smarter people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing for the last almost 5 years, 6 years. I've been a business owner for over 6 years. And it started out wellness products, health coach, and then just kind of transitioned into the transformational coaching because that's how I can help the most people and
for sure
truly help people to be able to live a life of success, true life of abundance, freedom, and fulfillment.
Oh yeah, and why reinvent the wheel when there's already a map out there, right?
Exactly. Yes, I have created a shortcut.
Yeah.
Now, had I known what I was doing with the gratitude and all of that stuff way back 24 years ago, it wouldn't have taken me 12 years.
You know what though? If you had known, here's the thing. The fact that you were doing it back then before it was a discussion in healthcare and in mental health, then it gives some validity to what you're saying. Yep. Right? Because you can say, look, I was doing this when I was a teenager and now the science is catching up. Yep. But it validates what you're saying.
Exactly.
So no, what a gift. So I'm sure people listening are interested in learning more. And what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So ElizabethInspires.com. I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube.
Ma'am, you are everywhere.
It's because some of my usernames are a little bit different.
Okay.
TikTok, you have to use a short one
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So you can go to elizabethinspires.com and you can reach all my platforms.
Okay.
Book a free VIP discovery call with me. That's in one
Yes.
of my lists at the top of my website. If you are struggling
Mm-hmm.
and you're wondering if there's a way out, book a free VIP discovery call with me. After we meet, I'm going to have you fill out a form, some of your pain points. We meet, I share with you how I may be able to help you, and then you're going to get my free guide to double your peace and joy.
Ooh.
So
there's nothing to lose.
yeah, nothing to lose. Yep.
And you gain.
Yep.
It's a little insight,
Mhm.
a guide. That's amazing. I love how you have it all set up.
Thank you. Yeah.
It is very well thought out.
I'm so blessed to have had the people
Mm-hmm.
in my life at that right time. It's all a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those right people in my life to guide me and direct me so that I could get to where I am right now. Because honestly, statistically speaking, I should not be here today.
Oh, that's crazy. That's amazing. And twice, statistically speaking, twice.
Yeah. Yep.
But here you are.
Yes.
ElizabethInspires.com. Do not miss out. Is there anything else that you want people to know? I feel like you've run the gamut of what you offer, and I think there's a lot for them to discover on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, any tidbits that you want to share?
I have free resources. So
okay.
Yeah. Under my resources tab, I've got my 30-second secret to help you to reclaim your peace.
Okay.
And then I have my free daily text subscription for affirmations to help you kind of get into that right
good. So you're helping people get into that gratitude mindset.
And then I also, for a small amount, have a 30-day miracle tracker so that you can start to track those miracles that happen every day in your life.
Oh, love that. Oh, Beth, thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here. Thank you, Erica.
Oh, no, it was so fun. And it's my joy and pleasure to have you here and be able to share this. And hopefully, if this hit your heart as it hit mine, reach out to elizabethinspires.com, get all the information, and speak with Beth. Like, she's so great to talk to. You will not regret any minute of conversation you spend with this woman. So I'm just so grateful that you're here today. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you gave me this opportunity. Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you. Thank you so much. That, folks, is Elizabeth Inspires, and this is What's Up Waco.
Have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.